Hey there. In this video, I'm just going to overanalyze a bunch of easy climbs I did. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I think as a newer climber, when you see someone that's really strong and good at climbing, do a climb, you automatically just think to yourself, well, the reason they could do it is because they're just so much stronger than me. When you're not wrong, by the way, they are a lot stronger than you, but also typically speaking, they're also just vastly way better and smarter at climbing compared to you. So I'm going to overanalyze the shenanigan shit out of a bunch of V0s, like 1v1 and 1v2. Actually, not even V2, just V0s and V1s. And by analyzing, I hope you can see how someone who's been climbing for a long time thinks about these particular movements, and hopefully you can start to implement it into your own style of climbing. So first off, we have this lovely yellow climb, V0 by the way. And when I started off, I'm automatically low to the ground with my arms extended. I'm not going to start in a lock-off position. For this climb, I don't see any particular benefits to it. Additionally, I'm starting with straight arms because the fact that the arms are straight means there's less weight for my body to actually have to hold up, and straight arms is more efficient as opposed to bent arm. Now, immediately I push to the left with my left leg in a drop knee action. That drop knee action will bring my hips closer to the wall, push most of the weight to my right hand, which will then allow me to just reach up very statically and in great amount of control to the hole that's just right above me. And additionally, my right leg is pushing slightly into the big hole that's on the wall. All the while I am on my toes, and when I'm on my toes, that allows me to pivot a little bit. And then from here, I'm just going to stand up. And as I'm standing up, I'm not even pulling with my right arm at all. It's more or less straight. And the only bending action it does is just a natural bend as I start to twist and pivot my body upwards to the good hold. Once I get the good hold, I notice before I reach with my right hand that I twist my body first to maintain my balance. And then I'll bring up my right hand in a good strong match. Following that, I lower my left hand because right now my hips are a little bit close to the wall because I'm in this extended position with my right hand up and my feet low. So naturally what I need to do next is to bring up my feet. And in order to bring up my feet, I'm trying to get some space away from the wall. In order to bring some space away from the wall, I'm moving my left hand down. And then notice right there, I press against the hold. But when I press, you notice how my hand isn't like a normal pressing action. It's actually turned inwards. The reason why that is it's just easier to press that way. It's a lot more natural and it's a little bit easier on the wrist given this position. Now by pushing away, that's going to allow my hips to open up, move away from the wall, and when they move away from the wall, I can now then bring up my feet. As I bring up my feet, I'm just doing, it's very simple, go left hand up, and then as I bring up my right leg, I immediately bring it up and then I twist it in towards the wall in a drop knee action, in which case my arms are still straight and I'm able to then rotate my right hand up to the next hold. Using that, I just stand up, and before I initially go or while I'm going, I'm rocking over onto my left foot, bringing my hips over my feet so the vast majority of my weight is indeed just on my legs, and I finish off with a nice little meat hook on the volume. Now notice when I grab it, I'm not just grabbing one corner of it, I'm actually grabbing my bad. I'm not just grabbing one corner of it. I'm actually grabbing both sides of it because I know that by grabbing right here, it's going to be a little bit more registry as opposed to just this in a meat hook type of fashion. And then, right. And then I just climb up and I mantle it. Now that's just one climb. Let's move on to the next one. So this next one is a green climb. At my gym, this clocks in at about V2. It's honestly more like V0 still, to be honest. So the start of this one, I want you to pay close attention to. When I start off, I lift up my right leg and I immediately drop it. I drop it super hard. I drop it so hard that you start to see it come out of the other side of my body. And what that does is that's going to take my left hand, right? So that I take my left hand, and as I drop it really hard like that, what happens is my arm, my bicep, ends up literally cradling my torso. So I'm not using much strength at all. And then I'm just leaning back like this, and with the left hand holding the wall, I'm cradled into the position with my right leg pushing against the wall. in that position right there, using a little bit of torque, I'm able to just literally reach up with my right hand super statically without using any strength at all. All I did was literally hold it, right leg up, twist pretty hard, and reach. And then with that reach, my right arm is straight. And notice as I lift up, I don't even curl my right arm to establish more height. All I did was I brought my leg over and I just stood up. I stood up with my arms straight. With the straight arm, I'm conserving energy, and the only thing that's really being used right now is a little bit of leg strength and just a little bit of grip strength. From there, again, with the straight arm, I'm reaching, I grab a hold, and then I'm just reestablishing my feet, bring up my right leg. And again, notice how my left arm is relatively straight this whole time too. I'm not really pulling at all. I'm just holding and maneuvering my feet, holding, maneuvering my feet, using the sideways action of my body to go upwards. Right there, I lift up the left leg, bump out the left arm, and again, notice when I hit the left hand again, I immediately straighten it, because not only does the straightenness allow me to actually have a little bit more perspective of where I am, as opposed to my arms being close. When you straighten, you get a little bit more perspective, you get a little bit more space away from the wall. So that's what I did immediately, just to look at my feet. Once I found my feet, I added a little bit of bend in my arms, just so that I could start to reestablish my feet again. Right here, I lean all the way to the left side, popping my hips out. But not only do I pop my hips out, I'm smearing relatively slightly with my right toe, just the tip of it against the wall, to help prevent the barn door action from happening. And by doing that, I'm able to just statically reach for the next hold. And it's just really a side bend. I do a little bit of a foot swap. It's not really too complicated. And then right here, I also really like what I did here. I take the left hand and I press it against the volume just a little bit. Therefore, I don't accidentally barn door when I stand up. Just that little bit of a press adds tremendous amount of stability in my climbing. And then right there, I flag out my right leg to create a triangle with my left leg, and right hand. This little triangle formation is going to keep me nice and stable as I reach up to the final hold. Reach, and even then, I'm reaching it, extending the left arm so it's straight. Activate a back flag to balance out my weight. And then I go in for the nice and simple match. Now, currently, those are two climbs, and currently, I'm talking a lot of smack about how I'm climbing about it. And maybe you're thinking, wow, all of that is not necessary. Why don't you just, climb up? It's just a V0, bro. What are you doing? And I'm here to tell you, no, nah. It's this type of cerebral thinking and trying to find the most efficient route, no matter the difficulty of the climb, that's going to help you find the most efficient route when the difficulty of the climb becomes very, very, very difficult. Right? Because I'm doing all these drop knees and all this straight arm shenanigans. And while it's totally not necessary for these climbs right now, because these V0s, V1s, I could do them many of ways. One arm, one leg. I could probably campus all of them, honestly. No, I definitely can campus all of them. But that's not the point. The point that I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to find the best possible body position that requires me to use the least amount of strength as I move up. And then as the grades start to get a little bit more difficult, V2, V3, V5, V6, V8, V9, V10, and then I start to use everything that I practice on the lower grades onto the high grades. And on the high grades, it's not going to be as pretty or as obvious, but just a very simple smearing of the toe against the wall could allow you to make that move. Or just a very simple dropping of the knee when you didn't think you could, because you just try to pull through it, makes you be able to do the move. Has happened to me countless of times. And let me just go over one more climb. We're gonna look at this big wumbo, super easy yellow, obnoxiously easy. Ugh. Anyways, but as I'm getting into it, I'm starting off with my arms completely straight. Arms completely straight. I lower my gravity right below my hands, right? So now that my hips are completely below my hands, only then do I release my right leg up and smear it against the wall or volume. And the reason why my hips are directly beneath my hands is because if I was to release it before that, then that would create a little bit of swing. Now again, I could totally hold this with like 2 fingers, 1 finger, super easy, but I'm trying to find the most effective, most efficient route possible, and that way is to literally just allow my hips to go directly beneath my hands before I lift up my legs so that I have no momentum in the starting position. I do that, I grab it, and immediately, what do? I drop knee hard, right? I automatically turn my right leg inwards, and from there I lean over, right? I'm leaning back from the wall, therefore I have space to move. My drop knee is bringing my hips close to the wall while my torso is a little bit further away from the wall. It creates this little nice pulling, pushing action where it creates great security. I get my right hand up, I untwist, and then I walk my left foot through. But when I walk my left foot through, you see how big that foothold is? I put my left foot far from the edge of the wall, therefore I'm able to push myself into the wall, as opposed to having, say, my feet really close to the inside of that yellow hold, because it's so big you could basically put it anywhere and it's kind of good. But I'm trying to find the best possible location to place my feet, and for me, I thought it was directly on the outside of the edge or the lip, which will allow me to kind of push my body weight inwards. From there, look at that heel hook. I activate a little bicycle right there. Activate a little bit of bicycle, gives me a little bit more stability. Notice my right hand is still straight. And then with my right hand straight, you notice how when I went for the next hold, the only thing that really shifted was my upper left scap. That means my body was perfectly balanced and I could have maintained the position and there was no momentum acting upon me at all. So I found a good position here. I switch feet, I go left hand. I bring up the left leg and then I go up my right hand, just reaching up. And then right here, I noticed something. I could have just, again, literally just did a pull with the arms and got to the top relatively easy. But in this position, my body's really stretched out. My right leg's low, my right hand's high. So I did exactly what I did with that first climb. I brought my left hand down and I pushed it on the hold. I pushed it on the hold to create a little bit of space for my hips, and not only to create space, but to actually elevate myself up a little bit to remove a little bit of weight from my left leg. That allows me to bring my left leg down, and also now allows me to bring up my right leg. Now that I have my right leg up, I do a little bit of a drop knee, a little bit of flag, and I reposition my left leg. From here, notice how I've used my left hand and I bumped it up to that good hold as a little bit of an intermediate. Just, again, totally not necessary, but just to add a little bit of hose in my step to go to the good one as a way to conserve a little bit of strength. And then from here, I just stand up. I just do a little bit of stand up while I'm in the drop knee, and then I just reach for my right hand. But that's not it. Again, I place my left hand down, trying to find the best possible position to finish this in. And then using my left hand and twisting the legs, I twist, and via the twist, I'm now in a good position to just totally match the hold. Now I know you might still be thinking, Chang, you're dumb. Why you do all that stuff? Blah! And I'm here to tell you, a lot of new climbers, when they climb, all they do is pull, and there's no thinking. The only thinking that happens is, I need to be stronger, I need to be stronger, I need to be stronger, which is totally not the case. I've seen a lot of new climbers and personally coached a lot of new climbers to do climbs they thought they couldn't do because they were too weak. At the end of the day, especially on these lower level climbs, it's more about technical execution. You don't need to be able to do a single pull-up to do any of the climbs I just did. So this video, hopefully I was just over explaining. Hopefully you can see inside the mind of someone who climbs relatively hard for more or less a lot of time using that cerebral thinking. Yeah, but no, hopefully you enjoyed this and you got a little bit of insight. Cool.